cameras to show the crowd. They don't want to do that. It's harder for us to win because we have a fake news back there. And somehow we just keep on doing it. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? This is some... You know, it's interesting. When Biden comes to Florida, he'll have like 12, 13 people. You know, they do the circles. And he has a hard time filling up the circles. Here we probably have 30,000 people or something. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Well, I want to thank you. 40 days from now, we're going to win Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And this is the most important election in the history of our country. I believe that. It is because we're dealing with people that are crazy. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to take away your Second Amendment. You know that. Your Second Amendment's not going anywhere with me, I can tell you that. The Democrat Party has been completely taken over by socialists, Marxists, and far-left extremists. They embrace the policies of communist Cuba, socialist Venezuela. They want to end the American dream for Hispanic Americans. We love Hispanic Americans. Wow. Did you see they released a poll today? They said Trump's doing really well with what's going on with the Hispanic. It took you so long to figure out that I love you. How long did it take? No more of that stuff. No, the Hispanic Americans are great. And you know, they released a poll today, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. The Republicans are beating the Democrats with Hispanic Americans. Think of that. No, we're doing great. We're doing great. And they never like to show those polls. Whenever you see they don't show too many polls, that's only because we're winning. We're winning by a lot. We think we're winning by like a lot. But the only poll that counts is on November 3rd, right? That's the only poll that counts, right? So get out there. Don't let them blue you, whatever it is. Get out there and vote. The Republican Party is the party of jobs, safety, and freedom, and we will ensure that America never becomes a socialist or communist country. I've added that recently. I said socialist country. I said now a socialist or communist country, because these people are crazy. Kamala. You know, Kamala is further left than Bernie. I didn't know that. She is the furthest left in the U.S. Senate. She was up at 15% when she started. You know that, right, that story? She went down to 14, then she went to 12, then she went to 11. She went to 9 and 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. And then she left before Iowa, the great state of Iowa, where I made ethanol possible for them, ethanol. And I gave our farmers $28 billion. Thank you very much, China. We took it out of China because they were targeting Iowa, Nebraska, a lot of our great states, Wisconsin. We gave our farmers a lot of money. Some came down to farmers down in Florida. They don't know that. We got a lot of farmers in Florida. But here's the choice facing every Florida voter. Joe Biden will deliver a crippling shutdown. He's actually thinking about, can you imagine? No, we did that, and we saved millions of lives. That's it. We're doing good now. And by the way, your governor's done a great job. Florida is down low now in the China virus. It's China virus. Some people call it coronavirus. That sounds like a beautiful place in Italy, right? No. It didn't come from so well. You look at our numbers. Wait till you see the third quarter. I shouldn't say it because back there, but wait till you see how good the third quarter is going to be. And it comes out just before the election, so I'm taking a risk when I say it. You won't believe the numbers you say. I tell you, you're going to see numbers. Nobody's going to believe those numbers. We're hearing from 25 to a 35% GDP. Nobody's ever heard of that before. Well, Iran has a 25% GDP too, but it's a negative GDP of 25. They just announced negative 25. They don't like me too much. Be careful. Be careful. I'm delivering a safe vaccine. and we're doing a record recovery. This recovery is a record. They've never seen anything like it. And next year is going to be, I think, the best economic year in the history of our country. Unless a very sleepy guy got in and he decided to quadruple everybody's taxes, then you can forget it. He's a sleepy guy. Did you see he did a lid this morning? Again, lid. You know what a lid is? A lid is when you put out word you're not going to be campaigning today. So he does a lid all the time. I'm working my ass off. I'm in Texas. I'm in Ohio. I'm in North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm in Michigan. I'm all over the place. Wisconsin. Thank you. But he puts a lid on. So a lid, I didn't know what the hell a lid was. I've only been doing this for 3.5 years, right? But a lid is, you're not going to go out today. You're going to stay in your apartment, or let's put it this way, in his basement. So early in the morning, he's put a lid on. That means nothing for today. I guess they do that for the press. The fake news goes home and they say how great he is as a candidate. They go home and they say he's a great candidate. But he put another lid on. There's many lids. So he did a lid today, early in the morning, that he won't be working today. And I don't know. I'm working so hard. Maybe he's right. Think of it. Supposing he never campaigns and he wins, you know how badly I'm going to feel? I'm working hard. And you got to work hard. And you know what? I said it today. We cannot have a low-energy individual as our president. We can't. And he's the lowest energy individual I've ever seen. So we'll see what happens, but he's lidding up. Maybe he's going to be great at the debate. He's been doing it for 47 years. Somebody said, oh, he won't do well at the debate. I said, I think you're wrong. He'll do fine. He's going to do fine. They'll give him a big shot or something, and he'll go out there. He'll have a lot of energy. He'll have energy. He'll be like Superman for about 15 minutes. Biden's plan will crush Florida. My plan will crush the virus, and we're doing it. We're rounding the turn. We're rounding the turn. Under my leadership, prosperity will surge. Normal life. Oh, I love normal life. We want to get back to normal life. We'll fully resume. The Florida tourism and hospitality industries will reach record highs. That's what's going to happen. You see it. And next year will be one of the greatest years we are going to have. I'm telling you, mark it down. And if I'm wrong, you'll say I was wrong. I'll say sorry about that. But we're going to have a great year. We're going to have a great everything. Our country is doing great. Our military has never been stronger. We've taken out so many bad ones, and hopefully it's so strong that we'll never have to use it. You understand that? You want to make it so strong. We've never had weapons like this. No country in the world ever possessed the power, the weaponry. What we have is so incredible. Nobody's ever possessed it before. Not Russia, not China, not anybody. We're the envy of the world. Hope to God we never have to use them. That's all I can tell you. This election is about jobs. And by the way, speaking of jobs, it's all made in the USA, everything we have. And this election is also about law and order. They said, oh, don't say law and order. That's too tough a term. They say, sir, say law and order very lightly, and then say, and safety and liberty and this. And I said, no, it's about law and order. We have to have law and order, right? And these Democrat-run states are a disaster. They're a disaster. You look at what's happening all over the country, and many of them. Look at Portland. How bad is that? How bad is that? And I will say, last night in Kentucky, I spoke to the governor. He's a Democrat. We had a great talk, and he pulled out his National Guard, and he's doing it good, and I give him credit. But mostly they don't want to do that. I say, let us send the National Guard. I did it in, remember? Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota. So I did it in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were having a hard time. And it took a little longer than we wanted, but we got the okay to get in. We solved that problem in about 25 minutes, I think it took. They formed the line. That was the hard part. The easy part was just walking straight ahead. They never flinched. They were not socially distanced. They were right next to each other. They had $250,000 a piece uniforms. They had more stuff on their head. I'm trying to figure out what is it. They had computers. They had infrared goggles. They had everything. And they walked forward with their canisters of tear gas and pepper spray. And it was, remember the CNN reporter, he went down. He got hit on the knee with a can of what? Yeah, that's right. He got hit. He said, I'm down, I'm down. He was down. It's too bad. I felt badly for him, though. He went down. Ali Velci. Remember, he was standing, and he was saying, this is a friendly protest. It's wonderful to see the lovely people that are here. You know, he's ducking. And behind him, the entire city was burning down. Do you remember that? The entire city. Why are they doing that? What's the purpose of it? I don't get it. I don't get it. But no, he got hit on the knee with a canister of tear gas. They say it hurts. It hurts, you know. And that's only going 52 miles an hour. A bullet goes about 2,000 miles an hour. But they say it hurts. But they cleaned out that city. In a half an hour, they had no problem. Minneapolis, that's one of the reasons I'm going to win. Another reason would be Ilhan Omar. That's a reason. Omar. We're going to win because of Omar. That's a beauty. That's really, she's great. She's great. She loves our country very much. She has total disrespect for our country. And I think she has hatred for our country. But I would say Omar is a big reason that we're going to win. They're not too fond of her in Minnesota. I'll always fight for the right of all citizens to live in security and peace, so we have law and order. Joe Biden is weak as hell. He surrendered his party to flag burners, rioters, and anti-police radicals. The Democrat Party's war on police. You know, a lot of people say cops. I never liked the word. You know, my father, sit down, please. Come on, we'll be here for a while. What the hell? We have nothing else to do. I have nothing else to do except run a country. And the hardest part about running the country is dealing with crazy Democrats. You know, we're working on stimulus for people because it's not their fault. It was China's fault. And we can't get Nancy Pelosi to approve it. She wants to wait till after the election. I said, people want their money now. It's not going to have any impact from that standpoint. People want their money now. The Democrat Party's war on cops is putting the lives of innocent police officers in danger. But my father had great respect, always had great respect for law enforcement, for the police. And one time I said, Dad, the cops are out there. Look at that. They look great. And he says, never use the word cops. It's police. That's the kind of respect he had. He thought, I don't want to, you know, right? Look, I have a couple of pretty rough-looking guys. No, it's true. So I always find it a little hard. You know, I just left an impression. It's police. He thought it was slang. And I don't think they mind. I don't think, how many? We got a lot of them here. Does anybody mind the term cops? And who's here that's a policeman or woman? Policeman. Do they mind? A lot of them. A lot of them. Do they mind that term, cops? No. They just want respect, and they just want to be allowed to do their job properly, as nobody can do it. Do you agree with that? That's what I say. All right, now start calling them cops. He said, we don't mind, just respect us and let us do our job. Earlier this month, 2 sheriff's deputies were ambushed at close range in Los Angeles, California. I called them both. And they're okay, but they were hit. They were hit bad. Last night, as you know, 2 police officers were shot in Louisville, Kentucky. Every year, dozens of courageous police officers lay down their lives for people that they never met, people that they don't know, people they never saw in most cases, right? They lay down their lives for people they never met. They're incredible. Law enforcement, let's give them a hand, please. Thank you very much. That's good. I tell them all the time, you know, we have endorsements from all of them, but I tell them all the time, you have no idea how much you love. You know, they don't hear it because they watch the fake news at night, and you don't get the true story. That's a lot of guys. That's a lot of people back there. That's a lot of fakers back there. Look at all those red lights. The red light means you're on live, you know. The problem with being on live, you make a little bit of a mistake, and they say, this was a horrible evening. Thank you. That's enough. That's enough of that. No, it's very dishonest. It's a shame. Really does hurt our country. It's so fake. They don't show the protesters. They don't show it. You know, when you think that, like, cities are burning down and storefronts are being exploded, people are being killed, they would have you believe there's nothing happening. It's the most incredible thing. I don't even understand why. No matter where your philosophy is, no matter where you stand, why wouldn't you want to show the facts, show what's happening? And then we fix it. The Republican cities don't have trouble. The Republican states, they don't have trouble. You go to different states, they don't know. They find it, you know, some of these governors, friends of mine, and I have friends on both sides, but Republican governors, red states, they look like, how is a thing like this possible? Because they have law and order. They have law and order. I mean, that's what it is. For the entire summer, Joe Biden was silent as his far-left supporters assaulted police officers, harassed innocent Americans, and set fire to buildings. They were rioters, they were looters, they were anarchists. He called them peaceful protesters. He said they're peaceful protesters. Joe, they're not peaceful. Now, maybe he may believe it. I mean, honestly, they may say they're peaceful. Okay, I'll say they're peaceful. I think he believes it. I actually do. It's the other ones that you have to worry about because they call the shots, not him. He's called for the ridiculous cutting of police funding, abolishing cash bail, if you can believe that, and the closing of our prisons. They want to close our prisons. That's a good idea. He even described law enforcement as the enemy. He said law enforcement is the enemy. Now, you know, I assume, I'll ask the fake news, has he taken it back? I assume, because he's taken everything back. He's taken anti-fracking back. He's taken pretty much everything back. But remember, it's the first thing they say. That's what they stick with. Biden's anti-police crusade must stop. As president, I will always stand with the heroes of law enforcement. That's why we're here. And I was honored to receive the endorsement of 48 sheriffs right here in Florida 3 weeks ago. And all over the country, law enforcement from Texas, Arizona, Ohio, Oklahoma, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York's finest endorsed me. They've never endorsed a presidential candidate. The National Troopers Coalition, Chicago. How about that? Chicago police, they endorsed me, Chicago. And all the major law enforcement organizations all across our country. They go back home to mommy, they say, Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know the incredible thing about that? I didn't hear anything except our crowd. No, they have no voice. They're screaming at the top of their lungs, but their lungs are very small. And I didn't hear, all of a sudden you hear, whoa, like this right here. It's true. If you wouldn't recognize them, we wouldn't even know they're here. Now, tomorrow, the headline is, so you had one young protester. The headline will be tomorrow, Trump's rally broken up by protests. One very young girl. She's a girl. Am I allowed to say girl? She looks like she's like about 16 years old. How the hell is that happening? 250 generals and military leaders, also hundreds and hundreds of military spouses, have given their complete and total endorsement to our campaign to uphold the laws of our land and to uphold our Constitution as written. On Saturday, I will be announcing my nominee to the United States Supreme Court. It's true. Well, it's going to be a big deal. We're doing it at the White House, the Rose Garden of the White House. Unless it's raining, in which case we'll still do it there. That's okay. It's beautiful, the White House. So beautiful. We love the White House, right outside the Oval Office. And, you know, they don't want us to do it. The Democrats say, you shouldn't do it. Why? We have a lot of time. Let me ask you the one simple question. If it was them instead of us, do you think they'd do it? I think so. No, this will be a very talented person. It will be a woman. I'm sorry, man. It will be a woman. All right, ready? Who would rather see a man? Oh, that's trouble. Try it again. Who would rather see a man? That's not good. Who would rather see a woman? I think it would be, really, I think it would take tremendous courage. I don't care how great the man is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you that Jim Fitzgerald, and then you would see a lot of very unhappy faces, right? My opponent refuses to release his lists of potential justices because they will be handpicked by extremists like Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, sometimes known as AOC plus 3, right? AOC. And one of the three, I think, is Omar, right? But they'll pick the person. So if Biden does that, if he puts an extremist into that position, he loses everything that's like normal. And if he does the other way, he loses the left. So he doesn't want to give a left. I'd love to have him put up a list. I'd like to see I could see what that list would be. I could already tell you the people on that list. It would not be good. It would not be pretty. You would not be happy. That would be the end. If given power, Biden and his supporters would pack the court. You know, they're talking about packing the court because we have won races. We have won. I'll tell you what. So this will be my third, and we're in great shape. Do you see what's going on with the Republican Party? How unified the Republican Party is? Right? No, we're unified. It's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you, Mitt. Thank you. Appreciate it. Even Mitt's on board. Even Mitt's on board. No, it's a good thing to see. Having a unified party. Of course, when they did the impeachment hoax, we had 197 to nothing in the House and 52.5 to a half. That was Mitt. But that's okay. I'm no longer angry at Mitt because he's being very nice on the Supreme Court. He's doing the right thing. I just want him to do the right thing. But they want to pack the court. You know what that means? They want to put on a lot of justices. These are things that are just horrible. I guess we could do that too, right? We could do that too. But remember, it was Harry Reid that made this all possible. You know, they're angry at us. Listen, Chuck, Crying Chuck. You know what Crying Chuck is? Chuck. Every time you complain, remember, it was Harry Reid, your person in charge. He had your job before. It was Harry Reid who made this all possible. Thank you very much, Harry. I hope you're enjoying your evening. No, they blame us. Harry Reid gave us the power. Nuclear option. Thank you, Harry, very much. But he wants to pack the court, Supreme Court, with radicals who will terminate the Second Amendment, confiscate your firearms, eliminate the right to self-defense, strike under God from the Pledge of Allegiance and all other places. Tear down crosses from public spaces and force taxpayers to fund extreme late-term abortion. These far-left justices would release violent criminals, shield foreign terrorists, impose sanctuary cities, and declare the death penalty totally unconstitutional. Hey, it will be totally unconstitutional. They want to declare it unconstitutional for even the most depraved mass murderers. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. They came to my office today at the death penalty for clemency. I said, what was the crime? The crime was so horrible that I won't tell you what it was, but it's been going on for 21 years or so. The crime was so horrible that this person committed that I said, look, I just can't talk about it. It was so horrible, and that's usually the case, like the Boston bomber. And by the way, they want to give votes to prisoners, people in prison. They want to give votes. So we immediately said, remember Bernie, crazy Bernie. Bernie is, I'll tell you one thing about him. He's the greatest loser I've ever seen. No, I mean that in a respectful way. Because what they did to him with Hillary was bad, but this time was even worse. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren would have left the campaign one day before Super Tuesday. Bernie, with her ideology, basically, because she's a radical left, and she was really fresh to him, but she was really fresh. How bad was Elizabeth Warren to Joe Biden? There's only one person that was worse. Who was worse? Kamala. I said, he'll never, this shows you my great instinct, my great knowledge of politics. I said, he will never pick Kamala because no human being has been treated worse than anybody than Kamala. Remember, she called him a racist. She called him xenophobic. She called him all sorts of things. She called him things that were so bad I can't say them. I can't say them. But she called him a lot of things. I said, well, she's out. And then he picks her. She picks her. And well, you always pick people going up, not going down in the polls. You know, if I were going to pick, and by the way, how good is Mike Pence? Is he great? Okay, he's a rock. He's a solid guy, and he's a great guy, and a great vice president, and he works so hard. He's all over the place. He's in Michigan. He's everywhere. Where'd you go today, Mike? I went to Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina. I went to Wisconsin. And the guy, I tell you what, he's an incredible guy, and he's a great guy, and he loves the people of this country. He loves our country. You cannot do better than Mike Pence. You know that. If you want to save America, you must get out and vote. In just 3.5 years, we've secured our borders, rebuilt the awesome power of the U.S. military, obliterated ISIS caliphate 100%, fixed our disastrous trade deals, and they were a disaster. I read some of them. I said, who agrees to this stuff? Stupid people agree to it. And brought jobs back home to America, and we brought them back. You had the greatest year you've ever had last year. The greatest year you've ever had. Under 16 years of presidents, Obama and Bush, household income rose only $2,945. Okay, that's over a course of 16 years, close to $3,000, right? In 3 years, and including energy, because look at the saving. How are you doing at the gas pump? Not so bad, right? Did you ever see that? You ever think that was going to happen? In 3 years, so that was less than 3,000 over 16. In 3 years, you went up $10,000, including energy. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction in the first 3 years of any president in the history of our country. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, not only here, anywhere. We were beating everybody. You know, for years I heard that China in 2019 was going to overtake us, right? That didn't happen. Then they released the plague, but that didn't happen. And it still is not happening with the plague because they got hit hard themselves. I wonder if they understood that they were going to get hit too, right? But the plague came here. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped it from going all over the world, 188 countries all over the world, including Europe and the United States. We've added a record 10.6 million jobs in the last 4 months, including 3.3 million jobs for Hispanic Americans. That's a record. Both numbers are a record. When the plague arrived from China, we launched the largest national mobilization since World War II. We pioneered life-saving therapies, reducing the fatality rate 85% since April. You see what's happening? Europe has almost a 50% greater excess mortality rate than the United States, and now you see they're being hit very hard. The fake news was saying, well, I don't know if you've done as well as Europe. I said, we did better than Europe, and now Europe is exploding again. Unfortunately, I don't want that to happen, but they don't want to talk about that because that's not good for their narrative. Our early and aggressive action saved many millions of lives. Through Operation Warp Speed, we developed and distribute a vaccine. We will have a vaccine so soon you won't even believe it. Although they're trying to do a little bit of a political hit. Let's delay it just a little bit. You notice that? Let's delay the vaccine just a little bit. But we have 3 great companies and then others also. Johnson & Johnson, right? Pfizer, Moderna, great companies. All of them great companies. And they're right there. They're way advanced. They're in the final steps. I took historic action to get critical relief for American workers through our Paycheck Protection Program. We saved 3.2 million Florida jobs. We're launching a historic effort to bring our medical supply chains back home where they belong. In 1996, Joe Biden voted to obliterate Puerto Rico's thriving pharmaceutical industry. I am reversing that, and we're going back so that Puerto Rico can get its pharmaceutical industry back, and they're going to have it back soon. That was Joe Biden that did that. And then they'll vote because automatically, I don't know, they vote for a Democrat. What's the purpose? He's the one that did it. He's the one. Look what he did, how devastated. Look at what he did to our African-American community, and people don't want to talk about it. But what he did was devastating, devastating. He's not good for anyone, let's face it. Last week, I also announced an additional $13 billion that goes to disaster relief for Puerto Rico. They got hit hard. I hope they remember that. That was given by Trump, not by the Democrats. Our hearts are also with the communities in the Panhandle. I love the Panhandle. Ron will tell you. I'll tell you, you're a great governor, and he's doing a great job. He called up, he said, the Panhandle's it, sir. They love you in the Panhandle. I think I'm at about 99.9% in the Panhandle. But we took care of the Panhandle. Remember Hurricane Sally? That was not good, but we took care of it. Ron came into my office and say, sir, we need more money. I said, how much? He gave me a number you don't even want to believe. I said, you got it, Ron. Don't come back, Ron. He comes back about 3 days later, sir, we need more money. But that's, I guess, a good governor. That's what a good governor does, right? That's what a good governor does. I approved a major disaster declaration for the state of Florida last night. And we will be with you every step of the way, every step. You're there. We're there so fast. We sometimes, you know, other presidents took a long time to approve them. I approve them before the storms hit shore, because we know what's going to happen. We took care of Florida. On November 3rd, Florida will decide whether we end the pandemic and return to record prosperity, or whether we allow Joe Biden to kill the recovery, delay the vaccine, impose a $4 trillion tax hike, ban American energy, which he wants to do, destroy the suburbs. He's going to destroy the suburbs. Give free health care to illegal aliens, which means millions and millions of people are going to pour into our country. and indoctrinate your children with poisonous anti-American lies in their class, in their school. To combat the toxic left-wing propaganda in our schools, I announced something last week that was very popular, that we're launching a new pro-American lesson plan for students called 1776 Commitment.